So now that we have set up our model, we can get started on specifying the details of the actual MCMC analysis. And the first important thing to specify is some monitors, because monitors are going to be what prints the values of the different parameters throughout the MCMC. Of course, the point of an MCMC is not just to use your computer for a while, but also to get some actual estimates out of it. So this is why you're going to need monitors. Now, the first thing we're going to define is a vector to store those monitors, similar to the vector of moves that we defined way back at the beginning. This is going to be helpful to just use as an object to define the MCMC analysis in the end. And so for the very first monitor, we would like a monitor that will monitor all the parameter values for the different parameters in our model. And now we can set that using the monitor model, which will just take all the components of the model and put them in a log. So this takes several parameters. The first one is the file name, where we will record the values for those parameters. Then the amount of generations between each logging. And then finally, there's an optional parameter, which is if you want to exclude variables from being monitored. Now, if you remember earlier, we set f as an auxiliary variable for estimating the fossil ages. And f was fixed to 0. So, of course, this is not going to be a very interesting variable to monitor because the value is always going to be 0. And so, in order to just not clog our log files with that, we're going to exclude it from the monitor. Now, we set this monitor and we append it to the vector of monitors that we just specified. Now, we have logged all the parameter values, but there's one important outcome that we haven't recorded in the monitor model, which is the tree topology and the divergence times. So for that, we need to create another monitor, which is shown here. So this is the monitor file, which takes again a file name, which here we will call bears.trees, the number of generation each time you want to log, and the actual thing we are logging, which here is the FBD tree. And our final monitor is simply going to be for us to be able to look at the progress of the analysis. So this is going to be a monitor that will actually print output to our screen. So the monitor screen, again, we don't have a file name this time because this is printing to screen. We have the print generation, and we have a few parameters that we want to look at during the actual analysis. So we look at the age of the MRCA of extant bears, we look at the number of sampled ancestors in the tree, and we look at the origin time.